Hey, free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. So I want to talk about Xiao because whatever that I'm going to showcase today is going to blow your freaking mind. So the thing about Xiao that a lot of people don't really understand how he works is that he has a lot of AP control, yes, but most of you guys do not understand how his second skill actually works. And why I say that, let's take a look. So I think the best way for me to showcase his skill set is within the VR Battlegrounds, so that this explains a little bit more about his second skill and how this works with his third skill as well. So take a look at your first skill, right? Shadow Sword. Attacks one enemy, deals damage, and you gain speed up for 2 turns. Is there any AP movement, any AP absorbing, any of those kinds of shenanigans on his first skill? No, but take a look at this. He absorbed AP. So how did that work? So the reason why this worked, so let's take a look at your second skill again, right? So take a look at his second skill. When Xiao is under stealth status, damage plus 30%, dealing damage absorbs 10% AP, and at the start of combat, gain stealth for 1 turn. This part is actually a passive. This does not just link to his second skill, it actually links to all of his skills. And in addition, when Xiao is under stealth status, his damage is also increased by 30%. But this part is not actually part of his overall passive, which is after attacking, stealth plus 1 turn. This is not true for all of his skills. So for example, let's just use our first skill again to showcase, and we're not going to go back into stealth. Right, we lose our stealth status. So what this means is, believe it or not, his third skill is incredibly powerful. So let's take a look at his third skill again. Blossom Sword. Attacks one enemy 4 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of inflicting AP minus 20%, and if this AP reduction is triggered, you gain stealth for 1 turn. But do take note that if this skill's AP reduction is triggered, okay, only this skill's AP reduction must trigger in order for you to gain stealth for 1 more turn. Now when the enemy's AP becomes 50%, Xiao's AP plus 50% triggers 1 time per turn. Okay, so this we kinda understand. But what I'm trying to get at is he attacks 4 times, which means he actually has 4 trigger chances for this AP absorption. Which means that not only are you absorbing 40% AP, you can potentially gain 90% AP using your third skill. 90%. And in order for me to prove that this is true, I am going to use this skill on one of them over here. But because each hit only has a 50% chance of triggering, right? It has a 50% chance of proccing in the first place. It should not be commonplace for us to see 5 counts of AP absorption or any kind of AP reduction. It should not even be uncommon at all. It should be incredibly rare. But what I want you to do right now is to count the number of resistances and the number of AP absorptions on Xiao. Take a look. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I'm gonna do this a couple more times because even I missed it myself. Alright, one more time. A lot happened there. Okay, a lot happened there. I'll just show you 2 more clips just to illustrate my point after this video. But anyway, what I found out is this skill actually does give yourself up to 90% extra AP, and it also reduces the enemy's AP by up to 120%. Yes, more than 100%. Which means that you can potentially push the enemy's AP all the way down to 0. So this skill is tremendously powerful, but the issue with his second skill is that this also gives his first skill an AP absorb. Now you might not understand why this is a problem, but if you're talking a little bit about, let's say, Chronos for example, right? If you're using him in Chronos, and if you're using him with Avatara, or maybe you're using him with Alice, your turn order might go crazy sometimes. But anyway, let's take a look at the 2 clips first. So I hope you guys were aware of the 2 clips that I showed earlier, and in the first clip, Xiao actually did not gain stealth after using his third skill, and that's because we did not trigger a single one of his AP reductions on his third skill. We only triggered his second skill's AP reductions. So that didn't count at all, and he did not gain a stealth afterwards. Very important detail over there. Okay, so the way that we want to run him for Chronos, and this is going to be like my 1-minute team, right? Is we actually want to run him super freaking slow. We want to give him as little speed as possible so that if, let's say, Alice triggers him to take his turn, or rather Alice triggers him to use his first skill, he only absorbs 10% AP, and he should not gain that much AP to take another turn, because if he does take another turn, he's going to lose his cooldown on his third skill, or even worse, his second skill as well on the boss wave. So we need all his skills to be intact, which means that we need his speed to be as low as possible. Ideally, we do not want him to take any turns at all, or at least until the boss wave. Okay, so let's check this out. So we're gonna run this on auto. So let's see how this works. And I'm hoping Alice triggers Xiao to move. Can Alice please trigger Xiao so that I can illustrate my point? Come on, Alice. No. Come on, Alice, do it. Okay, nice. See, we gain AP, right? We absorb AP, but we did not overlap Gaius. So that's very important. So if you gave him like maybe 30 more speed or something like that, he's going to overlap your Gaius. And by doing so, that's going to force him to use his third skill which would completely, or rather it gives you a better, it gives you a higher chance of losing this run because you just lost your biggest AP reduction skill on his kit. So that's very important, right? So let's take a look at this. Now Chrono is going to gain a little bit more AP, and we are actually going to absorb it back really soon. So take a look at this. Boom, 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 boom. Nice. Really good, right? So that's the idea of using Xiao over here. So you just want to make him slow and make Alice super fast, and that's about it. So this is how it works. So what I really like about Xiao is that he works in a very special way. He is not one of those very straightforward Espers, and he requires a lot of tiny little detail in the way that you want to build him. So like, for example, in this case, you want him to be super slow, but obviously not the slowest because you want Ollie to be the slowest so that Ollie lands the defense break at the end. So let's take a look at this one more time, and then I will just call it a day because honestly, right now, there is not a lot of use for Xiao apart from Chronos, right? So let's see whether we trigger more of him. Okay, good. See? Another AP absorb, and he doesn't steal the turn. Very important, right? Very important detail. So if you guys watched Kovian's video on this, he actually gave Xiao a lot more speed, but I do feel like that is less efficient because what I realized is... Oh my god, look at that. he used his third skill over here. But that's only because I triggered him to move twice. So he actually stole AP a lot, which is not that common. But if he does it, you are kind of screwed. So in Kovian's format, where he gave Xiao quite a lot more speed, just one speed less than Gaius, the problem with that is you're going to encounter a lot of situations where you lose your third skill. Or worse, you lose your second skill as well. Because you have two different waves that he can potentially screw up. Because Alice might trigger him on the wave 1, Alice might also trigger him on wave 2, which is a problem. So giving him little speed, right? I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but I think it's very important to understand exactly why that's the case. So as you can see here, I did not have my third skill up on the boss wave, and this is probably going to wipe us, right? So there you go. This is like the perfect example. I'm so happy that I showcased this run over here, where Alice triggered him to move twice on the second wave. So there you go. So let's do this one more time, and hopefully we have a clean run this time around, and at least don't trigger Xiao twice. Another way that I found to work a little bit is to use the Black Twin as the leader so that we gain crit rate, so that everyone else can have like lesser crit rate, right? Because the Black Twin has a 20% crit rate leader, and that would then make Xiao less of an ideal pick for Alice. So for example, Alice tends to trigger the leader to move first, followed by the second inline, followed by the third inline, etc, etc. Yeah, so that's one way that might work, but you're going to lose out on the attack leader, which is not very good in most cases, right? Alright, GG, Ollie last hit, very nice. Okay, so this was not that clean, but it still worked pretty well. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, it really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now with that said, this has been Derek Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.